Throughout history, various religious and philosophical groups have faced persecution and discrimination. One such group is the Buddhists, who have experienced periods of intense persecution in different parts of the world. This article delves into the cruel customs enacted upon Buddhists during various historical eras, shedding light on the struggles they endured and the resilience displayed. One of the earliest instances of persecution against Buddhists can be traced back to ancient India during the reign of King Pushyamitra Shunga in the 2nd century BCE. King Pushyamitra Shunga, an ardent follower of Brahmanism, initiated a vicious campaign against Buddhists. Many monasteries were destroyed, texts were burnt, and countless Buddhists were targeted and killed. The Buddhist community suffered greatly during this period, as they were subjected to violence and suppression. In China's history, there were also episodes of Buddhist persecution. One such instance occurred during the Tang dynasty under the reign of Emperor Wuzong in the 9th century. Despite the earlier flourishing of Buddhism in China, Emperor Wuzong developed a deep skepticism towards the religion and sought to suppress its influence. Under Emperor Wuzong's orders, thousands of Buddhist temples were destroyed, statues were smashed, and monks and nuns were forced to return to secular life. The persecution not only targeted Buddhist institutions, but also confiscated their wealth, further weakening the Buddhist community in China. Despite the oppression, Buddhism managed to survive in China, albeit on a smaller scale. In the land of the rising sun, Japan, Buddhism faced its own share of persecution during the Meiji Restoration in the late 19th century. The Meiji government, aiming to modernize and strengthen Japan, viewed Buddhism as an obstacle to progress. They sought to separate Buddhism from state affairs and severely restricted its influence. Numerous Buddhist temples were forcefully converted into Shinto shrines, and Buddhist monks were prohibited from engaging in political activities. The persecution also aimed to assimilate Buddhist practices into a new state-controlled religion called State Shinto. Despite these challenges, Buddhism managed to adapt and persist in Japan, becoming an integral part of the nation's culture. The 20th century also witnessed significant persecution of Buddhists, particularly in Tibet. When China annexed Tibet in 1951, the Chinese Communist Party launched numerous campaigns to suppress Tibetan Buddhism. Monasteries were destroyed, religious icons were desecrated, and practitioners were forced to renounce their faith. During the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s and 1970s, the persecution escalated further. Monks and nuns were subjected to physical abuse, imprisonment, and forced labor. Countless Buddhist scriptures and artifacts were also destroyed, causing irreparable damage to Tibet's cultural heritage. Despite the harsh repression, Buddhism managed to survive underground, and its resilience played a vital role in the preservation of Tibetan identity and spirituality. The persecution of Buddhists throughout history serves as a reminder of the resilience and determination of those who adhere to this ancient belief system. Despite facing immense cruelty, Buddhists have continuously found ways to adapt, preserve their teachings, and maintain their spiritual practices. Today, Buddhism continues to flourish, spreading its message of peace, compassion, and enlightenment to people around the world.